What's up guys, Jun with the Sushi Man, and in this video I'll be teaching you how to make one of my favorite Japanese soul foods, which is OCHAZUKE. It's kind of tough to translate into English, but basically it's Japanese green tea rice, where you have a bowl of white rice, some toppings, and then you pour hot green tea or dashi broth on top of it. It's extremely simple to make and perfect for these cold winter months. Not to mention, if you're feeling sick, whether from a cold or a hangover, this will for sure make you feel better. Alright, now let's jump right in. Alright, first let's go over our ingredients. And I'll be showing you 3 different versions today using some pretty typical ingredients. But the beauty of this dish is that you can really use whatever you have. Leftovers can make for some great toppings. So to start off, we have some rice. And this can be freshly cooked or again, leftover rice works perfect. We'll use about 1 cup of cooked rice per bowl. Next we have the tea or broth. You can use either one and they're both great, but I personally prefer the broth version just because it has more umami and it gives more depth to the overall flavor. But I say try it both ways and see which one you like. If you're using tea, then just follow the directions on the package. And I know there's a bunch of different types of Japanese green tea, and for the most part, you can use any of them. The most common ones we use for ochazuke are sencha, genmaicha, hojicha, and bancha. But again, you can test out different ones and see which one you like best. Now in this video, we'll be making the broth version. And for this, we need some dashi stock, which you can learn how to make by going to this video right over here. Or if you want to keep it super simple, just use some instant dashi powder and mix it in with water. The ratio should be listed on the package, but a general rule of thumb is 1 teaspoon of powder per 1 cup of water. And we'll need 1 cup of dashi stock per bowl. So since I'm making 3 bowls, I have about 3 cups here. Okay, next we need some mirin, about 1 teaspoon per bowl. And then 1 teaspoon of soy sauce as well. And I like to use usukuchi soy sauce, which is a different type than your regular one. It keeps the color a little bit lighter and we use it a lot for like soups and other things that we don't want to add too much of that dark color. But if regular soy sauce is all you have, then that's totally fine too. And then we have some salt, just a few pinches per bowl, and you can adjust this to your taste. Now that's all you need to make a standard traditional broth, and this last ingredient is totally optional. But I like to add a little bit of chicken stock, which gives it even more umami and adds more savoriness to it. And I use about 1 tablespoon per bowl. Alright, now before I get into the other ingredients, I want to show you this first. This is instant ochazuke seasoning, and you could probably find this at any Asian market. Nagatanien is the most well-known brand that makes these, and they're super convenient. You just open it up, sprinkle it onto your bowl of rice, add any other toppings if you want, and pour the tea or broth. And that's it, done. So if you're looking for the fastest and simplest way to make ochazuke, then go get some of these. And they come in different flavors as well, and I'll have links in the description below. Now that said, making the seasoning on your own usually tastes better and you have total control of what goes inside. So if you have the time, then I recommend getting these other ingredients we're about to go over. But if not, these are awesome and you can't beat the convenience. Alright, so let's go over the ingredients for the 3 different types we're making. The first one is going to be a sake chazuke or salmon chazuke. For this one, we're going to need some salmon, about 4 to 5 ounces, some kizami nori, which is shredded dried seaweed, and you can easily just cut up the bigger sheets too. And then some green onion, which we'll be dicing. Probably only need like 1 or 2 of these for all 3 bowls. Now, these are Japanese rice crackers called senbei, and they add a nice crunchy texture while also adding a bit of saltiness to it. And any kind of rice cracker will work. These are just the ones I had in my house and they work just fine. Next, we have some toasted sesame seeds. And this is a sesame seed grinder. You've probably seen it in some of my other videos, but it auto grinds it and dispenses it for you. Pretty cool gadget. And I enjoy adding a little bit of kizami wasabi, which is marinated fresh wasabi. It adds the perfect amount of kick and really goes well with any type of ochazuke. And you can use regular wasabi as well. Now the last ingredient for this bowl is some ikura or salmon roe. And this is kind of a bonus ingredient and is totally optional, but it does go really well in chazuke, so if you can find some, I highly recommend it. Alright, on to the second bowl, which is the ume chazuke or pickled plum. For this one, we'll need 1 umeboshi. Umeboshi, for those that don't know, is pickled and preserved Japanese plum. There are tons of different kinds, but they're typically very salty and sour. And because of its very strong flavor, it goes perfect with rice, such as in onigiris, bentos, and of course, ochazuke. Next, we have some shio kombu, which is salt-seasoned dried kelp. This is another one that goes really well with rice, and it complements the umeboshi very well, and we'll only need about 1 teaspoon of this. And then again, we'll use some nori, green onion, sesame seeds, and kizami wasabi. Alright, on to our third and last one, the unagi chazuke, which is broiled eel. So obviously we need some unagi, and this will usually come frozen and individually packed. Now if you want to learn more about unagi, then check out this video right over here. And this is about a 2, maybe 3 ounce piece. And then again, we'll put the nori, green onion, sesame seeds, and kizami wasabi. And for this one, I like to sprinkle on some Japanese sansho pepper. And then I also like to drizzle a little bit of unagi sauce on there too, which you can learn how to make by going to this video right here. Alright, that's it for the ingredients, and as you notice, we'll be using a lot of the same stuff for all 3 bowls. Think of those ingredients like the base seasoning, and by changing out the main item, you can enjoy 3 completely different tasting bowls. Pretty cool, right? Okay, now let's move on to our prep. Alright, first and foremost, cook rice. And you can check out this video if you want to learn how. Now let's cook our salmon since that takes the longest. So first we're going to sprinkle some salt on top of here. And make sure to get all sides. And then we're going to let this sit for a few minutes. Alright, now we're going to put the skin side up on a foil lined pan and pop it in the oven. And I like to broil it on high for about 10 to 12 minutes or so, depending on the size of the salmon of course. Basically we want to cook this well done where it can flake off very easily. And try to have the rack about 6 to 8 inches away from the heat. And you can bake it or pan fry it as well, whatever method is easier for you. I like to broil it because it's simple and I find it to have a better result than baking. Okay, now while that cooks, let's prep our other ingredients. So I'm going to dice up this green onion. And you probably see me do this in many of my other videos, but basically we're just going to slice this crosswise as thin as we can. Alright, now let's break down the rice crackers. So I'm just going to put them in a Ziploc bag here. And then I have this big muddler here that works perfect as a mini hammer. And you don't want to crush it down too much. We want to keep that crunchiness, so if you go all out Thor here, then it'll just become rice cracker powder, which kind of defeats the purpose. And that looks good right about there. And now the salmon is done, so we're just going to let this cool for a bit. And once it's cool enough to handle, then we can start breaking this apart. And make sure to check for any bones while you do this. Now, if your salmon had the skin on it, you could definitely use it. I sometimes cut it up and add it in for a little extra flavor and crispiness, but it's up to you. And there we go. Now let's move on to prepping our unagi. And all we're going to do here is heat this up. So let's take the unagi and put it in our pan with the skin side up. And we're just going to broil this for about 6 minutes. Again, about 6 to 8 inches away from the heat. Alright, done with that. Now let's start making our dashi broth. And this is simple. We just add all the broth ingredients and bring it to a boil. So dashi stock, mirin, soy sauce, chicken stock, and a few pinches of salt. Now let's turn it up to about medium-high and we'll wait for it to boil. And I like to give it a quick stir here just to make sure that salt isn't sitting at the bottom. Okay, once it starts to boil, you could turn down the heat to its lowest setting and leave it there, or transfer it into a teapot or kettle. And that's it for the prep. Pretty simple, right? Now let's move on to assembling our ochazuke. Alright, so I have my 3 bowls of rice here, and first we'll make the salmon chazuke. And it doesn't really matter what order you place the ingredients. I usually start off with some nori, and then the salmon right in the middle, then I add the rice crackers, some green onions, sesame seeds, and then put the ikura right on top. And lastly, some kizami wasabi. And that's it. And we don't want to add the broth until we're ready to eat. That way it stays nice and hot. Alright, let's make our umami now. And I'm not going to go through each step here since it's all pretty much the same. Okay, and our last one, unagi chazuke. And there you go. Now all we need to do is pour on the hot broth and then dig in. So I'm going to try to get the money shot here while we do that. Yeah, and there you have it. 3 different ways to make ochazuke. And it's amazing how simple it is to make and how satisfying it is as a meal. It warms you up on cold days, soothes you if you're feeling sick, and also works miracles on hangovers. What more can you ask for? And speaking of hangovers, it's also a great way to finish the night when you're out drinking. I actually debated whether to put this as part of my izakaya series because it's served so often at izakayas, and for a good reason. In Japanese culture, we often end the night of drinking with some sort of food, usually something with carbs and soup. Think like ramen, udon, soba, and you guessed it, ochazuke. Try it out yourself next time. Trust me, it'll be more satisfying and much healthier than that late night Taco Bell run. Now, if you guys enjoy the way I teach and are a fan of sushi, then you might be interested in my book. It's called How to Make Sushi at Home, a fundamental guide for beginners and beyond. Making sushi at home sounds like a daunting task, but it's actually quite simple as long as you have the right guidance. And that's what this book is. I guide you and literally take you step by step on how to properly make sushi not only at home but in professional settings. So whether you're wanting to make sushi at home for friends and family or training to become a professional sushi chef, you will find this book to be very helpful. I'll leave links below for those that are interested. Alright, great job guys. And now that you know how simple it is to make some amazing ochazuke, go to this video right over here to check out how simple it is to make beginner-friendly sushi at home. Thanks for watching, and as always, feel free to leave any questions or comments below. I'll see you on the next one. Arigatou gozaimasu.